Why does it feel like every time I do these convention videos, I say I'm going to do something or not do something, and then it's a 180-degree turn or flip? That's because usually one day I'm like kind of bored watching convention videos, and then the next day I'm like, oh, after I have some coffee and I'm refreshed in the morning, oh, that's actually kind of interesting. And that's exactly what happened today. So there was one other talk that I wanted to talk about on the Friday afternoon, and then I promise we are officially done with the Friday portion and we'll move on to Saturday. I wasn't going to make a video today, but I decided I would just do a short, quick one this morning. So let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to the JW Thoughts channel. My name is Wally, and today we are going to look at a few examples of the delusion of Jehovah's Witnesses when it comes to their preaching. Quickly, before we get into it, don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps get out to more people on YouTube, which supports the cause and is very much appreciated. With all that being said, let's do this.
Well, in the following video, observe how a publisher cooperated with the angels by preaching the good news thoroughly. Enjoy this video.
At a very young age, I lost both my father and my mother. I could not understand if God was a God of love, why had He taken my parents from me? I grew up attending Catholic school, and I asked a lot of questions, but they never had answers for me.
I worked as a prison security officer. I got to know a lot of the people I work with, and among them, Simone. She was a difficult person. She was confrontational, strong in her opinions on certain things, and wouldn't let it go.
It's time to play the classics, the old juxtaposition between Christians, more specifically Catholics, and Jehovah's Witnesses. So we get the Catholic. Oh man, I was asking questions at the church and no one had any answers for me. Man, it was so disgusting. How can they even call themselves a religion when they can't ask basic questions? Well, after studying with Jehovah's Witnesses for a little more than a year, I came to realize quickly that you too can study with Jehovah's Witnesses, ask them questions, and they don't have answers for them. After being a Jehovah's Witness, after seeing with my own two eyeballs and my own two ear holes, asking elders questions about the Bible, about their teachings, fundamental things that they should know, and they say, that's all, folks. It is insane that they can make this sort of supercilious statement like, oh man, I was asking questions, but I couldn't get them, because we know what's going to happen later on. Oh, well, when you talk to Jehovah's Witness, they answered all of my questions. Yippee! So it's a bit frustrating hearing that. Now, the other thing I find funny is how they portray her as, oh, she was stubborn in her opinions and she wouldn't change her mind and she would stick to it. Have you ever talked to a Jehovah's Witness in your life? Like, they are the most arrogant, stubborn people ever.
Sorry, Kevin Bacon wasn't in Footloose.
What? Of course he was.
No, he wasn't. You lose.
Of course he was. He was the star.
Nope, you're wrong. Look it up.
I don't have to look it up. It's common knowledge.
Nope.
He was on the cover of People magazine when the movie everyone knows Kevin Bacon was a star of Footloose. It was a huge movie. He was the lead.
My family does not talk to me because they are so stubborn in their beliefs. That is like you maxed out all of your stats in stubbornness. It is crazy that they can try and portray a Catholic as, oh man, she's angry and stubborn and always holds to her opinion. Yeah, but I wonder how they're going to portray the Jehovah's Witness. It would be a real mystery here, wouldn't it?
I really enjoy witnessing informally, so I would pray constantly, and I'd ask Jehovah to give me courage, because courage doesn't come naturally. So, one day at work, I told her, I really enjoy helping others learn more about the Bible, a book most of them already have at home. She just turned to me and said,
No way. I don't talk about the Bible, so you can stop right there and don't bring it up again. I didn't like Jehovah's Witnesses. I was prejudiced against them. Susanna, well, she was different. Every day I was observing her. I would watch her. And she was so kind. Then I would start to question, how can someone like Susanna really be one of Jehovah's Witnesses?
Ah, yes, of course. The Jehovah's Witness is so patient and kind. You can observe them David Attenborough style in the wild and see all of their wonderful attributes and see how they've evolved into this near perfect human being. What a bunch of hogwash. But what's really crazy is how they say, she had this prejudice against Jehovah's Witnesses. Have you ever met someone that was prejudiced against Jehovah's Witnesses for the fact of them being a Jehovah's Witness? Like prejudice. We're not talking about things they do or teachings they have or experiences they've had. They don't like them for the sheer fact of them being a Jehovah's Witness.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I've never met anyone. They always gave me a reason for it. Well, my brother let his kid die when he was 7 years old because he couldn't get a blood transfusion. And I think that's messed up. And Jehovah's Witnesses say, oh, well, you're just being prejudiced against our faith. No, you let a child die. That's why I have very specific reasons why I think you guys are a bunch of turd heads. Point is, everyone that I've ever met that doesn't like Jehovah's Witnesses has a reason for it. Whether it be their cover-up of CSA, whether it be they let children die without life-saving medical intervention, whether it be that they tear families apart, whether they just annoy them on a Saturday morning at 9 a.m. because someone was out partying on a Friday and they don't want to be disturbed by someone waving the Bible around in a little track about Jesus. So it's a little strange how they try and flip this on its head instead of saying, man, we have these fundamental problems with our faith and with our beliefs, and they cause people to do these things that are harmful to society. And everyone sees it, and therefore they don't like us for those reasons, and they take that and turn it into prejudice. I don't think they really understand what prejudice means.
But there's a time when you snuck into the room to see what the...
I sneaked into the room. Snuck isn't a word, Conan, and you went to Harvard and you should know that.
And then about 3 to 4 months later, Simone came to me and said, Susanna, look, I have to ask you for a favor. I came to ask you for that study. I was taken aback. I almost didn't believe I had heard her correctly.
Jehovah took such good care of me. He explained to me why I had lost my parents when I was a child. And those answers that I'd always been searching for, I finally had them. Had she not talked to me about the truth, imagine how different my life would be.
It's His name that's at stake. So we can overcome our fear, regardless of the place, regardless of the moment or situation, and especially regardless of the type of person.
Where would my life be right now if I didn't become a Jehovah's Witness? This is such baloney. They try and make you think that you would be living a Grand Theft Auto right now. You'd be on the street corner dealing drugs and shooting people up and running from the cops when that's just not the case. You'd probably be pretty similar with what you're already doing, but your life would be improved because you'd have more time on your hands and you would have the wonderful ability to think critically. And this isn't her actual testimony. These aren't her real feelings. This is what she's been trained to think. She doesn't think for herself. She asks others what she should think, what she should say, what she should feel. And that is all she's doing. So no, for the 99 percentile, there are very rare circumstances where I might say, yeah, maybe your life was improved because you ran into Jehovah's Witnesses. But that is so extraordinarily rare, you can't really add it up when you are trying to evaluate whether or not being a Jehovah's Witness is good or bad. It's insignificant. But what does it look like when someone is having a good time, living a good life, and they come into contact with Jehovah's Witnesses. It's not like they're have this big tragedy, all of these horrible things are happening to them. I wonder what that looks like.
In the following video, see how a publisher cooperated with the angels by helping her student apply what she was learning.
I was a very challenging student. I was someone who loved to party, loud music, dancing. I would get to the party right when it started, and I would stay until the very end.
She had many changes to make. I was afraid to bring it up.
I don't know what it was about that energy and that music. It was just made me feel alive, I don't know. It was very powerful.
It's reminding me of that movie Hook when Peter Pan forgets who he really is. He doesn't remember Never Ever Land. She's like, I don't know what it is about that music and everything, just the energy. And it's like, brother, you do know you've just forgotten because you're in a doomsday cult. You remember the things that make you happy, the things that you thought were fun before. Oh, God. And this little shot is so stupid. Oh, man, what's she going to grab? Her Bible or her purse? She's already at a club. She's already all dressed up. Why? She's not going to bring her Bible with her. Like, this is just completely ridiculous. Anyway, the idea behind this, though, is that things are inherently bad. So going to a club is inherently bad, which, hey, I'm not someone that enjoys going to clubs myself, but they're not inherently bad. It just depends on like what goes on there and what people do there. So I think there are times when people do just go and have a good time with their friends and everything's great. And there are times when a lot of bad things happen. But that's neither here nor there because you have to sort of evaluate those things on what makes a person happy and are they doing anything dangerous to themselves or to others. It's not, oh, you went somewhere where there's loud music? Can't believe you weren't at home reading your Bible right now. You person in the prime of your life, you better get your butt back in your Barca-lounger, whip up the JW broadcasting and sit there and indoctrinate yourself. Like, what a miserable existence. And they equate all of this to, she was a real difficult Bible student.
I would say, oh, Jehovah, how can I tell her, Raquel, the way you were living is not Jehovah's way.
I didn't think I would actually have to let go of anything. I thought I could do what I wanted and serve Jehovah too.
So it took me a while to help her understand that there was no way around having to make major changes.
I remember saying, all right, that's it. No, I don't agree. This is not going to happen.
Then I'd say, that's it. She's not coming back.
But when I started to understand that to please Jehovah, I would have to give up some of those things. There was no satisfaction in any of them anymore. The hair, the makeup, the whole persona. Being there just didn't make sense anymore. I remember getting home and thinking, Raquel, what are you doing with your life? There was such a void, such a big void. But maybe feeling that emptiness was what I needed.
So this is a classic example of what I like to call hijacking someone's spirituality. So she used to have fun going out with her friends, and then you made her feel bad about it. Why? Well, because she has a belief in a higher power. She believes in God and wants to do the things that make God happy, and you've managed to convince her that the things that make her happy are not the things that make God happy. Even if she was doing nothing wrong, they don't specify anything that she was doing harmful to herself or harmful to others. So what witnesses do is they hijack your spirituality and make you feel bad. They are a classic abusive relationship where it's like, hey, if you're going to do this, here's all the major changes that you need to make. And they give you like this tiny little bit, this tiny little something that makes you just happy enough. But there's always that threat hanging over you. And so people always just keep coming back to it because they're like, oh yeah, see, just like I said, life's empty without me. Yeah, I knew you'd come back. It is so disgusting how they manipulate and deceive people into their little club.
It took me a while to understand that Jehovah's ways are superior and would only benefit me.
You could see how the truth was impacting her life, and she started making changes. It was wonderful.
She helped me come to the conclusion that based on the Bible, no, this type of lifestyle, this type of partying, never will be conducive to the life I want to lead. But Jehovah and the angels, they didn't give up on me. They were able to find the little bit of good through it all. They helped me every day, no matter what I was going through, they were always there.
At first, I doubted that she would change because I was looking at the situation from my own point of view, how I was helping, what I was doing. But it's not me. It's Jehovah who brings about change. We're just tools that he uses to help others change.
Honestly, if Marilda hadn't talked to me and made it clear what I needed to change, I don't think I ever would have changed.
We should never doubt. If Jehovah is drawing someone, that person can change. I was only able to help her because of Jehovah.
Congratulations, you've traded a life of independence and freedom, discovery, learning, personal growth, relationships with other people that are meaningful and powerful, finding love and happiness, all for conditional love, rule following, and empty promises. Look at the party you get to go to now. People walking around with their freaking tan pants, and it's just horrible. Anyway, I promise this is the real conclusion of my coverage of the Friday convention. We are out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe, be kind, and don't forget to show yourself the same kindness that you show to others. And you better have a good ass day.